The Bitcoin Group, the American original. For over the last 10 seconds, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. We'd like to welcome our panelists. Jimmy Song, Bitcoin developer.
Hey everybody, good to be here.
Tone Vase from Liberty Life Trail.
Hey everyone.
Jeffrey Jones from the Bitcoin News Show.
Hey guys, happy Friday once again.
And I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. Moving on to issue one. Issue one. Square Cash. Jack Dorsey's other company, in addition to Twitter, is Square, a payments powerhouse that allows small businesses to accept credit cards from their phone or tablet. Jack has always been positive about Bitcoin, even featuring on the Twitter blog, but now he's finally getting into bed with the fledgling cryptocurrency. The Square announcement drove up the price of their stock 5% and the price of Bitcoin up 11%. Jimmy Song, does Coinbase finally have some competition? Is Square's entry good for Bitcoin?
Well, absolutely, it's good for Bitcoin. This is one of the on-ramps onto Bitcoin. I did get, apparently, like one of the engineers of Square Cash actually reached out to me. I was like, hey, I don't have this on my app. I downloaded it and everything, and there's no Bitcoin option. So he's like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna try to get you in. So I'm in that process. So I'll do some sort of a review or something on my show. If it does get on, I'll just show people exactly what it looks like and all that. And I don't know, maybe it turns out to be a good way to transfer micropayments, since it's definitely off chain. And as far as I know, they don't have a way to get Bitcoin out. But I'll be doing that as soon as that's available. Is this good for Bitcoin? Absolutely. Is this something that will move the needle that much? Probably not. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how popular this app is. I mean, they got a lot of competition. They have Venmo and PayPal and all these other things. So you have to sort of think of it in that landscape. And maybe they're putting Bitcoin in as a competitive edge. This is definitely distinguishing them from Venmo. This is definitely distinguishing them from, I don't know, what there's so many apps now. And I would love to see more competition, and if there's demand for it and people are using it this way. It would be nice to be able to utilize something like this, maybe like over dinner. It's like, okay, you got the bill. How much do I owe you? $18.37. Here you go, using this app, something like that. Yeah, I would like to see that. And especially if, like, at the beginning of dinner, it was only $15, and at the end, it's like $18.37. Done. I will do that every time. So, yeah, we'll see. Coinbase have some competition to some degree, yes. I mean, I like to point this out, but Google was not the first search engine. And Facebook was not the first social, media site or, social network. I still think that, the Google or the Facebook of the exchange industry still does not exist. And it's going to take somebody that really understands what the user's needs are. It's going to take a team that's really, really good, execute flawlessly. But I don't know if Coinbase is that company yet. In fact, a lot of signs seem to point in the opposite direction. So I would like to see that happen. I don't know if it's this particular one, but who knows? I'm willing to keep an open mind about this.
Tone Vase.
I actually agree with Jimmy completely. I don't really know what else I can add to that. I mean, the competition is good. Look, to me, Coinbase is a joke. It always was a joke. I couldn't believe how they were able to get money the second time around. So I don't even care about the competition to Coinbase. Like, I know Square is competent. So, I mean, that's not even competition. It's more competition for others that are competing with Square in the traditional space might actually start taking Bitcoin seriously, because Square is taking Bitcoin seriously. So that's the competition I am looking forward to. I mean, to me, Coinbase is not competition to Square because I don't think Coinbase knows what they're doing. I mean, it's like they're always wrong on every single like it's a 50-50 chance that Coinbase is going to get something right, and they consistently just get it wrong, right? They screw up on the first fork, so they do the opposite on the second fork, so they screw up on the second fork, right? Like they just do everything in the opposite direction. So yeah, so I mean, this is not bad news. I mean, it's good news. It's not crazy good news like it's going to change the world. Like Jimmy said, all the Bitcoiners are now downloading Square for the first time. I mean, none of them even knew what the hell this was. So it's let's be realistic here. I mean, I don't know anyone who uses Square outside of like the merchants that I shop at the farmers market with, right? I mean, that's pretty much my only introduction to Square. I don't really know anyone else that uses it. It's literally for very small businesses that have a lot of business on the go, so that they want to cut down, like they don't have one location. So it's ideal for them to take payments through the phone, which is the future for individual people and very, very small businesses and consultants and things like that. But remember, Bitcoin was created to eliminate Square, not for Square to adopt it. So this isn't what impresses me, right? Like, and a lot of it depends on, will Square let the merchants hold on to the Bitcoin, either as themselves as custodians or the users as custodians, right? I mean, those are the big questions you got to ask. Like which direction are they headed? Are they headed towards like just using Bitcoin and then immediately converting it to cash? Fine, that doesn't interest me. Are they going to let the users hold Bitcoin? Great. Who's holding the keys? I mean, there's just more questions than answers here. But is the news good? Yeah, I mean, it's good. But we'll see. Let's see where it's headed.
And it sounds like Square is heading towards onboarding new users. So what we've needed for a long time is a Bitcoin wallet that doesn't pop up and ask you to create a username and a very difficult password. A Bitcoin wallet that doesn't ask you to write down 14 words in perfect order. We need a Bitcoin wallet that says connect to Facebook, or maybe in this case, connect to Twitter. Then once you're connected, you choose a PIN and you receive money. If you want to add money to your account, you scan your credit card with that photo thing. They pay the money for the transcription, and they add your credit card, and they take the risk. If Square can do that, there'll be a really great on-ramp for Bitcoin. Just like to remind everyone to give us a thumbs up. We've got 683 live viewers. Here we go, Jeffrey Jones.
All right. Is it my turn? Okay, it's my turn. All right, guys. So, a lot of great stuff has been said already, but I will have to preface what I'm about to say again with, listen, it's early days, right? This is baby steps. This is a limited rollout on a small part of the overall Square ecosystem, right? So we can there was talk about direction, which direction this is going to go. I mean, this to me there is a clear direction. The direction is towards Bitcoin. So what that means is onboarding, like Thomas said, that means creating great user experiences for new people to come and join. That means putting their applications, that means putting Bitcoin on the real Square app, the Square app that all the merchants use, and not just the Square Cash. And because remember, they are going to need a competitive edge. The payment space is thick, right? It is just insane amounts of people in the payment space coming in just in the past couple of years, of course, ignited by Bitcoin. Was definitely first ignited by Bitcoin, but now there's all sorts of stuff. We got PayPal, Venmo, and all these things like that. And with this competition, you're going to need a competitive edge. You're absolutely going to need a competitive edge, and this is a great way to really do that. And remember, it's the small businesses that adopt these new world-changing technologies, right? It's the small businesses, the garages that create and adopt these early technologies. So I'm not surprised. I'm not going to wait for a huge giant corporation to adopt Bitcoin before I start getting excited about these apps continuing to adopt Bitcoin. So this is them stepping their toe in the water. This is them beginning a very long journey. towards massive Bitcoin adoption. I saw, like the rest of the people here, I see this as extremely bullish for Bitcoin and a really great step for Square to be able to differentiate themselves in this crazy vast payment space. And it's only just beginning. It's going to get really, really, really competitive really quick.
Let's just jump back in real quick. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say nobody on this panel has ever used the Square app. Like, you've probably paid with it, but you've never actually installed it on your phone. Other than
I did recently, yeah.
Because of this news, all right. Okay, has anybody on this panel ever used Venmo? Because I haven't.
I haven't.
I've used Venmo, but I haven't used Square Cash. No.
All right, but like, do you have like the Venmo app? Like so
yep,
you
the
use
Venmo app, and I have to have the PayPal app to pay some family and stuff.
Okay, so you use PayPal as well. All right, because I haven't used PayPal in years, and I've never used Venmo, and I've never used Square, so I'm really not familiar with these payment methods. But I don't know. I see, Bitcoin's supposed to replace them, not integrate with them. So let's see where this goes.
All right, let's move on to the exit question. Which is better, Square or Twitter? Jimmy Song.
Twitter. I don't know. Jack follows me now on Twitter, so I'm going to kiss his ass a little bit and say both are good.
Both. Going down the middle, the worst of all possible answers. Tone Vase.
It's got to be Twitter. I mean, it's I mean, Square is a payment app. One's a social media app, right? I mean, I can actually use one of them, so it's Twitter.
Jeffrey Jones.
Well, I mean, they say that which is more important, email or money, right? It's going to be money, and they say that information is powerful, more powerful than money itself. So I'm going to say Twitter.
The answer is Twitter, the amazing short message system, which recently became a long message system. Bad decision.
I love it. I love the decision to go to 280 characters. I mapped that out almost every tweet.
It's ruining the system, and it even helped to elect the president. Twitter is more important than Square. Moving on to issue 2, BCash. Almost immediately following the cancellation of the SegWit 2x hard fork, the price of BCash began taking off. The larger blocked copy of Bitcoin found itself at the top of an impressive $2,500 a coin, with the Financial Times calling it a rival to Bitcoin, and one of its loudest supporters, Bitmain's Jihan Wu, taking to the stage to loudly proclaim that it's Bitcoin Cash, not BCash. Bitcoin Cash, not BCash. Tone Vase, I ask you, is BCash the real winner from the cancellation of SegWit 2x? Is this the beginning of BCash's fairy tale?
It was. It was the real winner until Jeff Garzik showed us what a winner he is with his coding skills early this morning. And now, at least I am going to make sure that people know who the hell is coding the BCash, and when you find out who's actually doing it, please let me know, right? I mean, this is the problem.
It's Dedelnix. You don't know Dedelnix?
No, I don't.
He showed up at the Breaking Bitcoin conference. He's a French guy.
Okay, no, I don't.
Okay,
I don't recall that. But
that's not how you're supposed to identify a blockchain programmer. It's that French guy, right? You got to identify him by a project that he's done. But yes,
right. So. Look, so they were a short-term. I mean, look, it was a pump. It was a coordinated pump. If I had to, in hindsight, they probably knew that the 2x was going to get canceled. They prepared, their code to spam the blockchain. They prepared their media appearances. They prepared, all of their minions to attack our YouTube channels and get our videos, delisted from monetization. It's all a distraction, right? Like the 5 to 10 minutes I got to deal with contacting YouTube. Like, why the hell is my market video all of a sudden not advertiser friendly. Like I don't even care. It's the principle of it, right? Like it's not even about the money, it's about the principle. Why the hell is my video about talking about the price of Bitcoin not advertiser friendly? I'm even allowing BitConnect, God's sakes, to advertise on it because I don't have time to like get them banned from my advertiser list. All right. It's just all distractions, right? So they prepared a huge narrative. They spammed the blockchain. They went in the media, and they pushed it, and it pumped. And I don't know if they got out on top, but it has already collapsed, almost back to where it started. And I don't think it's going to last because, look, bad development is going to show its ugly head sooner or later. In the case of 2x, it was sooner. In the case of BCash, I mean, the more they delay doing any kind of coding changes, I mean, the later bad development is going to show up, but it's going to show up because these people are basically incompetent. And when that becomes clear, then their fork is done. It really is that simple.
Jeffrey Jones.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody that can diss a project like Tone, but I'm gonna try a little bit. Like, I mean, look, he kind of said everything that needs to be said. This is crazy, dude. I mean, I went on Rand's show, on the Crypto Trader show on CNBC South Africa, trying to explain how BCash was used as a weapon of attack on Bitcoin, albeit a very weak weapon, right? I mean, it was a pretty weak attack, but they still got a few people's feathers riled up, and and we see the price now. Look at it; it's collapsed. I mean, it is an epic fail candle. If you guys want to take a look at the chart, I highly recommend it if you want a good laugh. We just discussed that. Look, this is what happens when you have incompetent developers. You get the 2x. You get the 2x nonsense. This is just nuts. I mean, nobody knows who. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, we have to have, like Jimmy just said, like that French guy. Like, look, when you introduce a blockchain developer, when you talk about developers, you have to refer to them by their previous projects, like Adam Back, Hashcash. You have to introduce them by their because in this world where people's money,
Matt Carrillo, Signal.
Yep, I mean, on and on. Like, you can't. This is just nuts. So you can't expect to put billions of dollars, hundreds of billions, and eventually trillions of dollars in the hands of a single developer. This is why the community is so important, and this is why it takes everybody, like as many people as possible, to keep Bitcoin going all these years. It's not just Core; it's the whole community that keeps an eye on this thing, and this is what it takes in order to keep this level of complexity afloat. I mean, it absolutely is amazing when you take a look at the simplicity of the code, the complexity that comes out of the simplicity of the Bitcoin code. It's absolutely unfathomable, and you look at the difficulty rise, and it's absolutely fascinating and amazing. But look, at the end of the day, what Silicon Valley people invest in, what VCs invest in, is they invest in the team. They invest in the talent. This is what makes the difference, okay? There is a difference between a regular developer who can work anywhere in Silicon Valley and a developer who works at a multi-hundred-billion-dollar company or something like that, right? Like the lead developer at Netflix is getting paid $500,000+ a year for a reason, okay? It is because of their history, because of
sounds like he's underpaid.
Right? Like, you should probably just should have held Bitcoin, but look, that's not it's neither here nor there. But I think everybody has said it at this point, and we've blasted it all across Twitter, and the World Crypto Network has been trying to warn people about this SegWit 2x, and I think now that we really show that we basically saved Bitcoin. Like, whoever fought for no 2x basically saved Bitcoin, because if this if this bug would have happened on Bitcoin, it would have been over. I mean, game over. Like, this is ridiculous. So thank you for the community for supporting Core. Thank you for supporting the No 2x movement. And hopefully we can move on from this craziness and use this as an example and call out the CEOs that, in my opinion, at this point, need to freaking resign for pushing the SegWit 2x in light of this crazy bug that we've seen Jeff Garzik implement.
We've got 992 viewers, just asking everyone to give us a thumbs up and to subscribe down below. Jimmy Song, what do you think? These CEOs, they supported this bad code. It would have crashed the Bitcoin network. Should they resign? Is it that bad?
I mean, I think they were going after their own interests. The big businesses supported 2x for a very good reason. They are the ones that are using the block space. I mean, that's most of the transactions on the Bitcoin network right now is from businesses. They're the ones that are sort of utilizing this public good. And of course they want to see it bigger because they want the transactions to be cheaper and they want more business, right? Like, it makes complete economic sense to me. I mean, as far as Bitcoin Cash, I did write an article earlier this week about crypto Austrians and crypto Keynesians. It's a bunch of people, I think, basically put their money where their mouth is. They felt like Bitcoin wasn't sort of this medium of exchange thing that they wanted it to be. So they went and got Bitcoin Cash with Bitcoin. And that's totally fine. Like, I'm glad that they did that, because you want people that believe in whatever product it is to own it. So if you don't believe in Bitcoin anymore, sure, go ahead and sell, right? Like for cash or for Bitcoin Cash or whatever it is. I'm totally for that. That's the market working. Of course, that caused a few things, including like a historically high mempool, both in terms of size and price. There was one block that had 13 Bitcoin in fees. So to my knowledge, that's the first non-mistake block where the fees were higher than the block reward, which is kind of incredible. But that's eventually where we're going to go with a fee market. That's how you're supposed to sustain miners. And we just sort of got a preview there. I mean, as far as the real winner, I guess Bitcoin Cash got a bunch of users that were disaffected by Bitcoin. That's good. I think they should move over if they don't believe in it anymore. But are they going to keep going up? I don't know. I mean, I do sense that there's probably another pump coming. There's going to be probably more people trying to do something to make Bitcoin Cash more popular. But that said, like, yeah, I think we're okay. We're like, Bitcoin's gonna continue to be a fantastic store of value. Nobody needs to worry about any of this.
A quick comment on CEOs. I mean, I don't think they. I mean, it's not up to us to call them for resigning for being dumb. But I just want to see them publicly make statements. They're going to start listening to their CTOs because, I mean, we talked about this with BitGo. Your CTO and your lead developer, they were very adamant and on the right side. Like the CEOs just need to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to drive this ship, but I'm going to let my technology guys make the technology decisions because Bitcoin is a technology.
I mean, I'll defend Mike Belshie a little bit. He's a very, very technical guy for a CEO. So there's that.
Well, no, and they had a lot to gain by taking over Bitcoin and being the ones to make the rules. I think part of the problem here is that to their stockholders, they did a very bold move. They tried to take over the entire ball of wax. Now, to the users, it looks like they're predators who tried to take over the entire ecosystem. And now those predators are going to stay at their jobs. That's why I think Vortex was calling for their resignations. I think Tone was being a little more fair, saying that, yes, they should publish an article like someone was calling for on Twitter today for BitPay. They said, BitPay, you sent out this announcement warning people about BTC1 and all these changes you're going to make. Are you going to send out a second announcement saying that it didn't happen? Who's going to educate these users who now have no idea what's happened and they're not even sending out messages anymore? So
yeah, I mean, this is just crazy. I mean, there's no apologies. We need if these CEOs are not going to resign, they at least need to publicly admit what the hell went wrong. I mean, even Eric Voorhees sort of admitted a little bit, but of course he went the complete wrong direction, saying that Core has won, which is the complete wrong way to look at it, and can't even have a dialogue with someone like that.
I think Core has won is an important thing to note here, because this is not over. The miners who attempted to hijack the network are still the miners. We still have the problem in the room. We need to think about if we're going to do anything about that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And one more thing, I already see it happening. Like, people are holding some of the media accountable for their insane shilling of this move that they called an upgrade. And I know Laura Shin is taking the brunt of it, and she should.
Agreed. Any more on this, Jeff?
No, I'm just, I'm still a little furious at these CEOs and how they wanted to, at the end of the day, replace the repo. They wanted to take control, as you say, Thomas, of the rules and of a decentralized network where the entire point of it is for that to not happen. And still be like, oh, well, it was just in their best interest. It's like, no, they were trying to take over the network.
Also feels like somehow Barry Silbert has weaseled himself out of the blame in the recent week or two.
Dude, he's disappeared. He's like 100% focused on ETC. He hasn't said a damn word about the entire movement that he started with the New York Agreement.
Yeah. Right, and
it's almost as if he owns the largest magazine or newspaper in the space. It's almost something like that.
Right, like I just realized, like over the last 24 hours, there's been like a barrage of like people holding other people to task, and I have not seen Barry's name. So he managed to just weasel himself right out of the blames game somehow, but by stepping away at the right time, I guess.
Those always be remembered as a great attempt at a takeover. Are we ready to move on to the next issue? I think we are. Let's move on to issue 3, Bitcoin 8,000. Following the Square announcement and the end of the BCash pump, the price of Bitcoin has taken off like a rocket, breaking all-time highs once again, shattering 8,000. Given the good news that the CME is launching Bitcoin futures, coupled with Jack Dorsey's Square, is this the beginning of a massive Bitcoin rally? Jeffrey Jones.
Well, I think we already are in the midst of this massive rally that you described. We've gone up insane amounts of prices this year. And, I was really expecting a correction far lower than what we did, lower than 5,500, but we just seem to going up. And there could be a couple of different nefarious reasons in the background with Tether and other things like that, but really this is just unprecedented demand just coming. Everybody wants to own a piece of this asset. I mean, even the futures market, the CME guys cited that they just had huge amounts of pent-up demand for people wanting to own a piece of this asset, this brand new asset class. And so, the price is reflecting this, and this is just great and amazing. And, I'm still fully expecting 5-digit Bitcoin early next year. And there's really not much else that can kind of stand in its way. We still have to deal with banking relationships. We still have to deal with all the fiat, or the on-ramps and off-ramps to fiat and things like that. But, I'm not worried about Bitcoin anymore at all. It really is proving itself to be absolutely resilient. The community is proving itself to be on guard and vigilant, and to be able to protect itself. And just the continuous immunization of Bitcoin is absolutely fascinating to watch. There's just really nothing that I've seen that has been successful at attacking it. It just continues to shake it all off. And again, that's all due to the community, to the people who watch this show, to the people who follow us on Twitter. You guys are the ones that are making this a reality. And so we thank you all for being here with us on this crazy freaking journey that is cryptocurrencies.
Shaking it off, Bitcoin and Taylor Swift. Jimmy Song.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of a weird position right now for Bitcoin. It is hitting like all-time highs. It'll probably go past 8,000. But is this the beginning of a massive Bitcoin rally? The beginning was like a year ago, right? Like it's been rallying for a long time. So I'm not really sure that this is necessarily the beginning. That said, I mean, there's some risks. I think that whole Tether story with BitMEX, that's starting to worry me a little bit more. We'll see if that changes the equation a little bit. They have been printing an awful lot of Tether. Whether or not that's actually backed by dollars is the real question. And if it isn't, then that's obviously a big systemic centralized risk, and something that we shouldn't be standing for. That said, there's a lot of good news. Obviously, the real question is Bitcoin becoming a better store of value? At least to me, that's how I judge this stuff. I think it's becoming better. It's becoming more secure. There are more wallets that are more secure, more there's SegWit, obviously, and Lightning being developed. So yeah, I mean, all HSMs even that are in process. I'd love to see more of it, but right now it does look like things are looking up, but there's also things that may be looking down as well.
All right, we've got 1,252 viewers. Thanks everybody for giving us a thumbs up. Maybe somebody tweeted about us or shared us on Reddit. And here we go, Tone Vase.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll save the actual like price details for the end of the show where we do predictions. But I'm just going to talk about in general. Yeah, now that we're back in the vicinity of 8,000, I am expecting us to go higher. Now, ideally, you want the price to stabilize a little bit. You want it to pull back a little bit, right? So even if we fall back down to like 7,000, I would see that as a good thing. But at this point, I am expecting us to start to approach 10,000. Now, as far as executing a trade and finding a good buying opportunity that is very probabilistic so that you're not losing money after entering the trade, that's difficult. And it was actually very difficult for me because just like Vortex, I expected us to go a little bit lower on this move down from 7,500. Not even much lower. I expected us to go maybe $300 or $400 lower. But hey, you mistime it, you mistime it. But I am expecting us to go higher. Now, what Jimmy said is important, right? I'm starting to get nervous about the Tether issue, and I really don't care what the people involved in Tether think. This is my opinion, and I know there's like huge opinions on both sides. And let me just, you know what? I will share screen. Hold on a second. So what we're talking about here is application. Here we go. So the recent article by Bitfinex is this one. I mean, I read the article. I thought it was a good read. Now, I don't know if this is FUD. I don't know if this is bullshit. I mean, a lot of people consider Bitfinex as a troll, that he has an agenda, all this stuff. People are saying that, he sold all of his Bitcoin at like $1,000 or something, and he's been on this mission, to like prove this and stuff like that. That's irrelevant, right? I mean, it's either he's right or he's wrong. Either he's going to be proven right or he's going to be proven wrong, though it's also possible it's somewhere in the middle. So this is the latest article. This was one of the first articles that he wrote with details about their terms and conditions and some going all the way back to 2013, talking about how some of the founders and what they tried to do before Tether, and the things that I don't like. The things that I look for, right, that straight up bother me. Maybe it wasn't in this article. Maybe it was in the latest article, right? Is things like this where people still think that Tether is an independent company when in reality it's an independent subsidiary that's, as far as I understand, 100% owned by Bitfinex now. Okay, but it started out as its own company. Oh, where are the screenshots? Damn. Maybe it's in this one. Shoot, he's written a lot of articles, and that's the thing. Man, there was a picture that showed the initial starting team of Tether. And when you have things like, this is no longer available on websites. Oh, and this video I had to get because they removed the video. And it has like sound bites that are relating to Bitfinex and Tether. Like when I see that, it bothers me. It really, really bothers me. When someone can show me that, for some reason, this is no longer on their website, but thank God I was able to get it from some kind of an archive. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to what you have to say, because the guy that removed it, I no longer care what he has to say at that point, right? So there's a lot of things that don't make sense, right? Now, here's my personal problem with it. And I tweeted this out, okay? I do not know. Oh, and the audit, and also Bitfinex pointed out that the supposed audit, or wherever it was that was done in September, clearly states at the top of the first page, this information is intended solely to assist the management of Tether and solely for management use, and is not intended to be and should not be used or relied upon by any other party. So whatever report this was that people were sending, here's the report. The report that, it removed the bank accounts and it says all the money's there. At the very top of the report, it basically says, don't trust this report. You can't use it as a third party for anything, substantial. So I don't know what this thing is. It makes no sense to me at that point. And he's right to point that out. Now, here's my actual problem with it, right? And it's this. Here's the market cap of Tether. And it was about $10 million for about 2 years since its beginning. And now, in 1 year, it has gone from 10 million all the way to 600 million. So there's a couple of things to think about here. Like, to me, I don't know if Tether has I don't know if Tether is fractionally reserved or not. Every single dollar of Tether could be sitting there at a bank, right? The question is what bank, and I believe there's a nice bounty out there to find out what bank. Now, suppose it's a bank. Suppose it's a Taiwanese bank, like a lot of us suspect and like a lot of us were told. It could be any bank. To me, Tether is e-gold. I don't see a difference between Tether and e-gold, right? So the bigger Tether gets...
Well, and just to remind people, e-gold had a centralized location. So it's kind of like Bitcoin, but they had a centralized location, and they went to that
it's exactly like Tether.
And took them down. Yeah,
well,
exactly
it's Tether, right?
Yeah.
It's exactly like Tether, right? It's a centralized
I think they have
location.
a single bank account, right, Tone? A single bank account for all of Tether? All the cash that's supposed to be backing up Tether is in like one account or something?
One or two. I mean, it can't be more than one or two or three, right? But
if it's more than one, it's distributed.
Right. But even if it's like 5, it doesn't matter. Like we might not know who it is because BitMEX and Tether are hiding the names of the banks, but I guarantee you the US government knows what banks it is, right? Because they're sending those checks somewhere. So to me, Tether is e-gold. And the way e-gold ended is the way that I expect Tether to end. The US government is going to show up and is going to take the money. Because they're going to say, hey, this money is, gold or dollars, it doesn't matter, right? They're going to go there and say, hey, these dollars are backing a token that's being used by anonymous exchanges. I mean, again, how the hell is this thing any different from e-gold? And we have a precedent of e-gold and what happened to e-gold. So to me, Tether has always been a giant systemic risk. So when it was $10 million, I didn't care. But at the current expansion of Tether, it's going to be $1 billion problem, basically in the beginning of next year. And here is the other argument that people are making. That's CoinDance. Where's market cap? Okay, so people are looking at it going, and they're like laughing. Hey, why do you think $1 billion is going to affect $130 billion market cap of Bitcoin? But that's so silly, right? I mean, how much of this market cap of Bitcoin is actually being traded for price discovery? And if I had to, I don't even have statistics on this. If I had to just guess, I would say no more than 10%. So we're not talking about $1 billion Tether disrupting $130 billion Bitcoin market. It's actually disrupting a $13 billion Bitcoin market. Because if someone right now panics on $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, that can send the price in either direction by a lot. Okay, so this is what people need to understand. You can't compare the market cap of something like Tether to the total market cap of Bitcoin or the total market cap of crypto. Okay, so Tether might not be responsible for the majority of Bitcoin trading, but it's responsible for it's responsible for like 90% of all altcoin to US dollar trading, right? So if Tether is if Tether can cause havoc in the Bitcoin market, it can absolutely destroy the altcoin market. Now, I'm hoping it destroys the altcoin market because everyone is going to start trading that shit back for Bitcoin, and they're going to panic into Bitcoin, right? So a Tether blow up can actually help Bitcoin. Like that's the thing, right? People are assuming that if Tether blows up, that it like really hurts Bitcoin the way Mt. Gox hurt Bitcoin, but it could be the opposite because Tether blow up could actually implode the shitcoin market and sending all of that value into Bitcoin, right? So just because, so even if it happens now, to me, I'm not going to speculate whether Tether is a scam or not. I mean, that I don't know. I don't have the info. You can argue with Bitfinex over that. I'm gonna play devil's advocate and say Tether is all on the up and up, but then it's e-gold. So like you can't win that argument against me. So there you go.
Excellent points, Tone. We'll have to watch out for that in the future. More on that, Jeff?
Yeah, just that people need to understand and be reminded that Tether really is kind of like this lifeblood of exchanges and altcoins. This is what allows operations of this type of liquidity to be moved without actually moving dollars in the traditional banking system. So it just Tones. I just want to echo how important Tones' point is that if this goes, it will cause havoc, and of course Bitcoin will survive no problem. But the altcoins, I'm not so sure.
Oh, and if it goes, I'm totally blamed for this at this point. Just so I'm out in front of that one.
If Tether is the lifeblood, maybe we could see if we could live without blood. Moving on to the exit question. The price of Bitcoin this time next week, higher or lower? Jeffrey Jones.
Higher. Always higher, man. Always higher.
Jimmy Song.
Well, I said lower last week, and that made it go higher, so I'm going to say lower.
Tone Vase.
Wait, what did I say last week? I had to have said lower,
everyone
right?
but me said lower.
Yeah, but we were right. It went lower by like 30%, right? It's just that we just came back up. Well, has it really been like? Hold on a second. I'm looking at my chart.
Yeah, it was only a week, Tone. Like
7 days is still a week. Yes.
Today's Friday. What?
This is how fast Bitcoin moves, people. Like,
so last time we were doing it, Bitcoin was over $7,000, and then we said lower, and the thing fell all the way down to 5,500. So we were kind of right, but now it's all the way back up. I'm actually, I think we're gonna stabilize here for a little bit. I think this was a big move. I think we're gonna be about the same. I think we're gonna be between 7,750 and 8,000. I think we'll be. I think we're gonna slow down right here before a breakout.
The classic push, saying the price will be the same when you know it's going higher. Moving on to issue 4, Bitcoin Wizard. What began as an offhand joke by Bitcoin artist Crypto Graffiti has become a full-blown campaign. More than 0.44 Bitcoin have been donated to their goal to raise 44 Bitcoin to place the Reddit Bitcoin Wizard in a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal. The campaign, which calls itself an ITO or initial troll offering, has a snazzy website at btcwizard.fund and is backed by Adam Draper, Bitcoin Mom, and Mason Borda. Jimmy Song, will the btcwizard.fund succeed? Will we see the BTC Bitcoin Wizard in the Wall Street Journal?
Wait, so they're trying to raise 44 Bitcoins.
It apparently costs $350,000 to have a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal.
Wow, 44 Bitcoins. I'm going to say that's probably not going to happen. That's a lot of money. And, I know people are feeling crypto wealthy and all that stuff, but that's still a lot of money. 44 Bitcoins. Yeah, I mean, and for what gain you could, I don't really know what the upside of doing something like that is. It's definitely got a pretty large cost. Upside isn't that high. I don't know. It'd be funny, I guess. But I don't know. It's just sort of not that interesting to me. I would not consider ever donating to a silly campaign like this. I mean, this is how suckers get parted with their money. At least in my opinion. So yeah, that said, the fact that, I'm still kind of flabbergasted that a full page ad in the Wall Street Journal costs that much. I bet you we could probably do like 30 other publications for like 1/10 the price, and do a full page ad on those. But, would it be, this is like newspaper advertising is such an anachronism. Like, who does that anymore? Just seems kind of completely backwards to me.
Well, funny is a good start. For the lulz, it would be a second term, and it certainly would be a moral victory. Tone vase.
I gonna second Jimmy here. I mean, this just seems like such a waste of money. I mean, I mean, look, obviously, it's totally reasonable for Wall Street Journal to charge $350 million because some people want to advertise Bitcoin Reddit with a wizard picture on it and trying to raise that money, right? So maybe Wall Street Journal should raise their prices. I mean, I mean, this is silly to me, right? I mean, if you're gonna take out a full page ad in the Wall Street Journal and you're gonna use this kind of money, how about making it clear that Bitcoin is Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash is a scam, right? I mean, at least make it productive. I mean, sending people to Bitcoin Reddit, which I don't even like, is not how I want to introduce people to Bitcoin. So I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
Would prefer an attack ad. Jeffrey Jones.
Yeah, we probably should just be like Steve Jobs and just take out a huge ad dissing the competition. No, I just can think of so many better things to raise $350,000 for in this world that we live in. There is a lot of strife in this planet, and it just seems like we could put this to some amazing other projects that are happening in a row. Just off the top of my head, maybe some desalinization technology. I don't know, but seriously, like a lot of people see this as like an ultimate troll, perhaps, and maybe an ultimate get back on all the people who didn't think that Bitcoin would ever be something. So I can see like there's this kind of following that it's getting. But look, there's a reason why we left this image behind. We are $100+ billion market, people. Like, we are trying to change the world. We are trying to change money itself. And so at some point, we have to grow up a little bit and start thinking a little bit more longer term than taking out a Wall Street Journal ad. This only justifies their insane $350,000 price. I mean, come on. I mean, I'd rather watch YouTube all day.
How much is 30 seconds during the Super Bowl? I mean, is it like still like a million?
It's like millions. It's in the millions.
No, it's three or 4 million.
Yeah.
3 or 4 million. I mean, like at least aim for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at the Bitcoin Bowl, like that BitPay did. That was the one. That was one of the interesting things.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, try to do another one of those.
See, that seems to be so much more productive to me than that. But look, guys, it's a big, huge.
I mean, we're arguing like the marketing tactics for Bitcoin. Really, like, is that really something we should do?
I think this is an important topic. I think you're not understanding the full efforts of this, Jimmy. There is no marketing tactics for Bitcoin. This is it.
Yeah, I think Thomas is a little bit concerned because, like, we see an Ethereum conference and we see just like every square inch of the place like covered in their logo, and we see all this crazy amounts of marketing.
Giant pictures of Vitalik, cat T-shirts everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, so we see this a lot of marketing, and Dash just markets heavily and things like that. I mean, look, they got Max Kaiser out there, with his Dash campaign, and so I think Thomas and some others may see it like, look, maybe Bitcoin is lacking in marketing, but look, Bitcoin, I'll say it again, is over $100 billion market. Like, there's somebody's figuring it out, and I think that more and more people will continue to figure out because the price keeps rising. So I just don't think there's a whole lot of marketing that we need to do other than to wake people up to realize how money works, and that can happen just by explaining how Bitcoin works. And so just keep advertising Bitcoin, keep talking about Bitcoin, but just understand that it will find a way. Like, it will find its way through this world, and I don't think a Wall Street Journal ad is going to help.
All right, let's move to several exit questions. Exit question number 1. If they fall short and they don't raise the money, will Adam Draper just put the money in anyway? Yes or no? Jimmy Song.
No.
Tone Vase.
I really don't care, but
he's building an Iron Man suit. Adam Draper, will he put the money in? Yes or no?
He'll put the money in, and then he'll pose in the Iron Man suit in the Wall Street Journal. Like, I don't know.
Jeffrey Jones.
He'll get something in.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, all these huge millionaires like Richard Branson and stuff talking about Bitcoin, and Adam Draper, and it's like nobody can afford a Wall Street Journal ad. Come on, guys. So no.
Jeff's right. No, Adam Draper will put the money in. He'll put an advertisement for his accelerator or whatever it's called, Bitcoin dot something, at the bottom, and he'll write it off as a business expense. Question number 2. If they trick the Wall Street Journal into writing an article about the Bitcoin wizard, does it count as getting in the Wall Street Journal, thus calling off the whole campaign? Jimmy Song, is that a victory?
For who?
For the original people who started the campaign. They wanted to get the BTC wizard into the Wall Street Journal. I don't think they exactly specified that it had to be an advertisement. Wouldn't it be enough to have his picture in the article?
Yes.
I guess so, yeah. I'll say yes. And Paul Vigna, if you're watching, please write an article for the Bitcoin wizard icon guy.
Tonevey says yes.
Yes, I helped Jimmy out, yes.
Yes.
Yes, it would be enough. We'd love to see a stipple portrait of the Bitcoin wizard or a stipple portrait of mad Bitcoins. Then let's move on to the real exit question, the most important exit question. Why can Bitcoiners only come together to promote jokes or kids that hold up signs that say buy Bitcoin? Why is there no organized, philanthropically backed Bitcoin promotion organization? Jimmy Song.
I don't agree with the premise. There's a lot of Bitcoin promotion philanthropic organizations. There's a lot of them. I think Connie Galippi actually runs one of them. There's several others.
That's a charity that raises money for charity, but a charity that raises money for Bitcoin advertising.
I mean, you're asking for a very specific thing and asking why it doesn't exist. I guess because no one's thought of that as necessarily being that important. I mean, but if you think it's important, Thomas, I think you should go and make one.
I mean, it was just a few years ago they had this Bitcoin Foundation, and they went to all the conferences, and they always sponsored everything, and they seemed like they were spending a lot of money. It seemed important then, don't you think?
Well, that was completely different. That's not ads in the Wall Street Journal of a wizard. This was, yeah, I mean, They also had
I disagree that what they did was any significantly different than ads in the Wall Street Journal.
No, perhaps. I didn't think they were a very good organization in the first place.
All right, so we can't have it because their organizations aren't good enough. Tone Vase.
All right, that was a long question. Can you just repeat it real quick?
Why isn't there something like the Bitcoin Foundation to promote Bitcoin?
Oh, okay. So that's not exactly how you phrased the question the first time. That's why. So to answer the original question is because most people in Bitcoin that have free time in their hands are actually children, whether by actual age or by mentality, because the adults are actually working. So this is why you get nonsense like this trying to get into the Wall Street Journal.
Jeffrey Jones, can you give me more?
I mean, you pretty much described the World Crypto Network, Thomas. I mean, we're here philanthropically. I can never freaking say that word. And you know, we're here by our own volition. We are here not being paid. We are here to spread the truth about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrencies, to try to give our opinions completely unpaid for the end goal of a net win, a greater good for the whole Bitcoin community. So why aren't there more? I don't know. I see a lot of people creating content. I see a lot of people writing articles. I see people like Whale Panda just kicking ass with his articles constantly, just getting 50,000 more followers than CEOs and completely having more say than the average Bitcoin CEO in the space. And that just makes me super happy. And so, you know, I guess I agree with the premise either. I see it everywhere, Thomas.
All right, well, let's move on to predictions or story of the week. Jimmy Song, are you ready with a story of the week?
Sure. I started my own YouTube channel. Thank you, Thomas, for the suggestion. But basically, I have a show. I'm just trying lots of different things. So, yeah, I've tried going live at random times and trying to answer people's video questions. I'm doing all sorts of things. But yeah, check it out. It's Off Chain with Jimmy Song, and I'm gonna have more content out there.
Tone Vase.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm continuing to do too much. So I've split my podcast between traditional markets and Bitcoin markets. Though I've been meaning to do traditional markets last 2 days and I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm gonna see if I can do one today and then back to Bitcoin. I'm gonna just alternate between the two, try to get as much of them out. I also started my own actual trading seminars. The first one is going to happen in Toronto on December 9th. These are going to be in like a hotel conference rooms, 20 people max. I think I already have 12 or 13 people booked for the one on December 9th in Toronto. So still about 7 seats left. Those are just my announcements. I guess for predictions, I'm going to go to the price of Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's just take a look at what's going on. This is the monthly look. And the monthly look is looking like Bitcoin is ready for a top between now and the next 2 months, right? So that's a lot of room there, right? I mean, we can go to 10, 12,000. I mean, at these levels, it's really hard. Like you pretty soon, you can't start thinking of Bitcoin in hundreds. You have to start thinking of Bitcoin in thousands. And once Bitcoin stabilizes above 10,000, we're all probably going to be talking about in bits notation, and then everything is going to change, right? We're going to be talking about Bitcoin in terms of pennies, not in terms of thousands of dollars. So we'll see what happens there. The weekly chart, I mean, it looks good, right? I mean, we broke out. The weekly chart looks great. It looks like we have 2 more weeks of upside. So I still think that we're going to slow down here a little bit because this has been the greatest week in nominal price gains in history. I mean, we can be breaking that every week, but I do think we're going to slow down for a couple of days and then, break out. But yeah, the charts are bullish. I mean, what can I say? The weekly is bullish. We've broken prior all-time highs just in the last 24 hours. And it looks good. I just think we've gone too far, too fast in a short amount of time. And if you are a trader, you want to look for the best entry, because right now we can pull back like $1,000 and it's going to be like business as usual, right? But that could, cause you to lose all your money. Here is the daily chart. So let's see how the day closes. The day is almost over. And we are consolidating around the all-time highs, which is what I want to see. I would love to see the price consolidate between my yellow line and my green line for as long as possible. And the longer it consolidates between these lines, the cleaner my buy entry is going to be. Like, you don't always have to buy the dip, right? You can buy the consolidation, getting ready for a breakout, and it's a safer trade than buying the dip if it's properly executed. Here is the 4-hour chart. What I didn't realize, because I wasn't paying close enough attention, is that if I had been looking at the 4-hour chart on the Bitfinex exchange price, even though we seem to be talking lots of shit about Bitfinex, it would have given me a much better heads up, and I probably could have timed this bottom off of this 9 with a green arrow. But hey, hindsight is always 20/20, and I wasn't looking at Bitfinex when I was looking at my 4-hour charts. I was looking at Bitstamp, and Bitstamp showed me nothing of the sort. Usually I'm quick on my feet, and I can catch a random one-off color change in the middle of a trend, but I must have missed it. And it went up, and I didn't buy into it. And okay, so I missed it. I missed the dip. It's okay. I'll find a good point and buy the breakout. That's fine. That's trading. That's life. So the 4-hour chart, I was hoping to see a 9 here. I didn't, but that's okay. It was a 9 for most of the candle. Again, I've been looking for some consolidation, right? I've been looking for consolidation to execute the perfect bull trade, and it just continues to go straight up. So I'll wait. I mean, I'll wait before I call out a low risk trade. And the hourly chart is consolidating. So that's a good sign. The chances that 8,000 is the all-time high for the next 6 months is very, 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 very small. This was plenty of time to exit at 8,000. We may make a lower low. We may not on this, move. But I do believe that 8,000 is going to be broken in the near future. Maybe not next week. It could break tomorrow, but it's going to break. Like, I don't see, I no longer see Bitcoin as a big top, pending black swans. Though if Tether does implode one of these days, I'm not sure if it should be considered a black swan, but it's an unpredictable event, unlike the 2x thing. That's pretty much it. I mean, that's my view on the price. And
Sounds like
Mempol's coming back up. That sucks. I saw it at like 8 megabytes the other day, like yesterday. It's starting to come back up, which kind of sucks, but also means people are using Bitcoin, so that's kind of good. All right, I'm done.
if it's not a black swan, it must be a white swan. And you had me at the greatest week in all of history. Jeffrey Jones, was it the greatest week of all of history?
It really was like this intense week. I mean, the Segwit 2x cancellation and the Segwit 2x bug, and then you know, the Lightning, the news about the Lightning atomic swap was just amazing and blew me away. And Square Cash Zap, and then confidential transaction paper was released. Like, it's just it was crazy, and I'm really just happy to be in this space. This is why I love Bitcoin. This is why people like you know, Vortex, what's happening with this Ethereum thing? What's happening with this? I'm like, dude, I got no clue, man. You know, I got my hands full trying to keep up with Bitcoin here. And so, you know, just amazing things. And so I just wanted to say that, hey, look, I had a great show last week, the Bitcoin News Show. We interviewed Matt Corello, and a core developer, talked about all the great things that are coming down the pipe with Bitcoin, just amazing things that are just in the works, and just so much work being done on Lightning and all this layer 2 stuff. Really happy to see that. And then this Sunday, I have my show again, 12 p.m. Pacific, live on right here on the World Crypto Network, the Bitcoin News Show. We're going to interview Andrew DeSantis again. So that should be a good time. The mad scientist, as he's has come to be known. So really looking forward to it. And you know, I hope everybody joins us there. And man, what a week in Bitcoin.
All right, first I'd just like to ask everyone to subscribe down below. Did you know 30% of our viewers are not subscribed? If you subscribe to the World Crypto Network, you'd be subscribed. And if it said 100%, I'd never mention this again. Also, I'd like everyone to subscribe to our YouTube or iTunes, the podcast. This is the audio podcast for the World Crypto Network, and it's got all kinds of shows by Jimmy Song and Tone Vase and Jeffrey Jones and even Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. We just added Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister. So you can check that out on the World Crypto Network podcast right here on iTunes. Please subscribe and give us a review. We only have 18 ratings. We could use more than 18. But thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to donate, you could donate now. Make sure to give us a thumbs up and a share. Until next time, bye-bye.